there were a lot of different poems written. Rumi has one. Almost every great master teacher talks about this relationship with the reflection of the moon in water. Have you heard this one? When the water is still, it's a perfect reflection of the moon. When the water is a little bit, even slightly disrupted, it looks like the reflection looks like the moon is not steady and bright and clear. It looks wavy. But the moon in and of itself is always steady and clear and without interruption or disturbance of any kind. And a lot of times the reason this is such a beautiful analogy for us to remember is because our sacred soul, on the reverse, like so on as within, so without. The moon is showing us it is always divine and perfect, complete, never disturbed or ruffled by anything that's going on with the water of consciousness or experience on the planet in your day-to-day life. And if we go all the way inside on the other side of the doorway, the threshold between worlds, which is this body, if we go inside to that inner light of the soul, the same is true, undisturbed by anything that's going on the outside. So the practice becomes this, as the Sufis would call it, the dervish, this threshold between worlds, this beautiful body, to keep it calm and still. Like, let's say all the water of the body, almost 80% of the body is made up of water. So it can be disturbed by things if our consciousness is on the disturbance and not the sacred, the stillness. So our practice becomes, during this theme of the month of February, is going inward, is to turning the searchlights inward. When there's a full moon the next time, do a moon meditation. It's a really powerful thing to do. And anybody in the room not aware of what a third eye is, or what your third eye is, or your spiritual eye, the point between the eyebrows. When we meditate, we have chakras, these wheels of divine energy. And the sixth sense people talk about, your sixth chakra, it's right here. Jesus Christ said, "If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light." He was talking about this. The star of the east, the wise men or women or whomever it was that happened to be following this star, I think we can all do it. They followed the star of intuition that guided them. It wasn't necessarily a star in the sky. It was inside and without. They followed the star of intuition. So this is what the calling is, to turn inward and reflect. This past weekend, I had a really great opportunity to go sing with some of my old bandmates, my former bandmates. I shouldn't call them old. I should just say former. We start using words like this. The older we get, further away we get from 25, we say, my former bandmate. And it was so much fun. And it was so interesting to be on the bandstand with people I've not performed with in probably 20 years. And to look left and see this gentleman, and to look right and see that one, and just think, oh my God, I love these people so much. It reignited this cellular experience of such joy. How much fun we had doing this for decades together, and it was as if time stood still. It was like nothing changed. And we talked about that on break. And my guitarist friend said, looking over and seeing you there, it's just like you've been there the whole time and never left. I'm like, yes, that's the best. And that's this sacred memory of the bliss is always there. It's as if it never left because it hasn't. So on the way home, driving back 3 hours, I had a really great opportunity to reflect and introspect on being there, doing that thing that I haven't done in 20 years. How I've changed? Have I? Have I not changed? Yes, I absolutely have been changed by the experiences that came through what Rumi calls the guest house, which is this body. It is the guest house of the soul, because we're only inhabiting this incarnation temporarily and only once. I'm tingling all over as I'm saying this to us, because it's like divine truth. You don't come here to get that reminder. You come here to be reminded of that which reminds us all the time. We remind each other. Sometimes I think on the spiritual path, it's easy to forget that everything that comes into your life is for you, one way or another. And it's a reflection of you. So sometimes we'll look at something that comes in that is just not something you would ever invite. but knocks on the door anyway. It's like the Avon calling or land shark, ma'am. You remember that from like Saturday Night Live? Land shark. You wouldn't invite that to your door. But sometimes, what if we are the ones who are to be the angels in other people's experience? To remind them that we are holding the perfect reflection of the infinite, and they just needed to see someone like us for a minute to remember all is not lost. What if you're supposed to show up as this divine, balanced, calm being for someone else? What if it's not always about you getting something, but in offering just your beingness, you receive the ultimate reminder of bliss? It's important to remember that it is this constant flow of in and out, like the ocean, in and out, like the ocean. So that answers that question sometimes I get from spiritual seekers or people on the path of, I don't buy into this. Everything is a reflection of me because I just met the most angry person and I'm not angry at all. Did you ever get that question? That's not me. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is to remind you of how to model calmness in the face of anger, or in the face of how well did you do in that interaction? Did you get sucked into that? Or did you just remain calm in that perfect reflection of the light of your being? And when we can remain calm in the face of chaos, you get more calm. You get more calm. I don't know, and I'm not trying to be, talk about my ethnicity. And our people, my Italian family talks, they're loud. I mean, if you're gonna eat at the table, you've got to be able to say, pass the meatballs in the middle of 3 conversations that are happening. You're finding that open space to be heard and to be fed, to be nourished. So I have this unusual ability to, when somebody's yelling, I get really calm. It's just like, oh, somebody's saying something. Because I'm used to loud. It doesn't upset me in any way. So I feel like that was a step in the right direction. What I'm not saying is we should all be okay with people yelling and screaming at us all the time. I'm not saying that, but there's a way we can grow accustomed to, like a Tai Chi master, Tai Chi martial artist will take the energy that's coming in from the opponent and redirect the energy and send it back. We can be these little Tai Chi masters of consciousness, And another thing about being on the path of reflection, inner reflection, and being the perfect reflection of a steady moon and a steady sun at the center of your being. Contemplation is a big one. Contemplate the relationship between the sun and the moon, and where the earth is in position in relationship to the sun and the moon. And here we are inhabiting human forms on planet Earth. What's that about? Contemplate that for a week. Send me an email, soulcall1@gmail.com. Because I don't have the answer, but if you tell me it, I'll tell you next week. There's more than one answer. As the Indigo Girls, there's more than one answer to these questions, pointing me in a crooked line, right? And the less I seek my source for some definitive, the closer I am to find. My response could be different than yours. You're moving in a different orbit. You're a different star in the constellation of humanity on a beautiful Earth. It needs to be slightly different. Your soul's calling is similar to mine in that it is stimulated from pure bliss and love. But how it shows up in the world is a little different. It's just like of course, my mind goes to food. The first analogies always feel like restaurants. Where do we eat tonight? What are you in the mood for? I don't know. Check that out. That is baby introspection. What are you in the mood for? You got to think about it for a minute. I don't know. And if it's more heady, like, well, we had Chinese last night, and we had, but like, what do you want is the question. What do you want? The infinite is always asking us this question. What do you want? And then if you say these things, why? How will this make me more blissful consistently? So in the class, if you wanted to jump into our mystics class, this would be the last week you could do it because we just did the introduction. But the Essential Mystics class is Tuesday evenings from 7 to 8:30. And we're using Andrew Harvey's book, The Essential Mystics. And jump in if you want to. This week we'll have to close it after this because we're really going to open up into the different philosophies, Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism and Buddhism, several others, just finding the mystical part of that. And it's where mystery meets possibility. It's the shimmery part. It's how people took these philosophies and lived them in a way that they became a little more porous in nature. Things were not so definitive. There's the word finite, indefinite. And that just keeps us from a whole other realm of exploration that is there for us. You know, I liken it to musicians because I'm a musician. So when I first saw notes on a page, has everybody seen notation of music, some form or another? When I used to hear it when I was as a kid, I would hear symphonies, and I couldn't tell if they were coming from inside of me or from the yard and the grass and the trees. And it turns out it was both. Everything has sound and vibration. I'm going to be speaking about this actually at the Light Expo, Gift of Light Expo, March 11th and 12th. I'm speaking at noon on Saturday, the 12th, the 11th, and then Sunday, the 12th, I'm speaking at noon, and then 3 o'clock on Saturday. 3 o'clock Saturday, noon on Sunday, about this mystical opportunity that we have. Vibrational mysticism is the title of the talk that's going to be there. But I'm bringing it in today because it's mostly about finding that, in the song, the fractal wave of consciousness, fractals are like trillions of representations of one source. And it just keeps growing and growing. It's almost like the Fibonacci sequence. You see spirals. Everything's a spiral. Watch this year when nature starts to push up flowers and they spin out leaves off the tree. They don't just pop open. They twirl and then they open. And then when the leaves fall in autumn, they spiral to the ground. It's so fascinating. But this energy is ours all the time. This spiraling mysticism, it allows us to push open to more and more wisdom, and to know that we're always okay. We're always okay, no matter what's coming. So Rumi says, invite an unwanted guest or an unexpected guest in and ask it what is here to show you. It's the guest house. Okay, so what is this about? Introspect. On the long drive home, as I was saying, I got to think about how much my life has changed, but how much that love for each other remained exactly the same. So like taking notes on a page, the first time I saw notes on a page from listening to symphonic music in my head, I didn't know the word symphony yet. It blew my mind because they were too small and they were separated. ... Higher, lower, I got all that. That makes sense. It appealed to my intellect, but none of it appealed to my heart until we came together and started to play with something or sing to open up those dots into a sacred resonance with the other dots on a page, to expand them into a vibratory frequency that was palatable to my being. It's like, now this makes sense. Where one note merges into the other note, we have a consistent stream of sound. Otherwise, it dot, 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 dot. That's what the drummer does, right? And that could be musical too. There are some drummers who are very musical and others who are just like machines, man. And both are appropriate, necessary, different times. But when you sound a note, I always call it, when I teach people to sing, I say, presence the note. Don't just hit it. Put something into it that makes me feel what you're trying to get across. Like nature, it gives you fragrance, it gives you sound, it gives you sight, it gives you, what else? Here's wind rustling through me to remind you of how beautiful you are on the inside. It's all of this. So the song, I am just a thread, a blessed thread in this glorious web of life, all connected. We are all just drops within a stream flowing toward an ocean of light. We may forget where we come from. We may forget where we're going to. I might not see that you're a reflection of me as much as I'm a reflection of you. And at the end, the mantra at the end, you want to say it with me? This is my simple prayer. Go ahead.
This is my simple prayer.
May I become a reflection,
May I become a reflection
of the infinite one.
of the infinite one.
This is
This is
my simple prayer.
my simple prayer.
May I become a reflection
May I become a reflection
of the infinite one.
of the infinite one.
This is
This is
my simple prayer.
my simple prayer.
May I become a reflection
May I become a reflection
of the infinite one.
of the infinite one.
Just by virtue of that simple prayer, may I become a reflection of the infinite one. When you reflect on that or contemplate that little lyric, it is a simple prayer. Simple is good. May I become a reflection of the infinite one. To become a reflection of the infinite one, what do we have to release? Any idea that makes you think you know who you are or how you show up. That's important sometimes. It was funny, this thing we did last week, maybe I shouldn't share this, but I'm going to because that's what I do. It was for all of the Pennsylvania Trial Judges Association. So all the trial judges in the state were there. So without knowing, I knew lots of them just from life experience in that state, but I didn't know a lot of them either. But when in doubt, you could just say, "Thank you, Judge." And you're probably gonna. And at one point somebody shouted something from the stage and I just said, "Thank you, Judge," or "Judge's husband." I don't know, because there's a time we live in, it could be anybody. But it was safe to use that identifier in this group of people. But careful, because they're just people. They didn't say, "Thank you, musician." "Thank you, vocalist." Even my name is temporary. So if you work it back and back and back, if you say Lisa, I will turn my head. I'm conditioned. My parents taught me how to look or to listen especially when they say, "Lisa." We didn't get this count to 10 stuff. It was like when they say stop, you stop. My mom's theory was by the time I count to 10, you're in the middle of the street, and that helps no one. So when I say, okay, so that was it. So we all learned these things. We have titles at our jobs. It helps people identify things and get things done here. Like right now, we're next door. In the next room, there were a bunch of other SoulCall, Soul Squad people putting the food together for our food drive to put into bags. There were little labels that say, fruit, pasta. Like, it's good to label things most of the time. Not ourselves all the time. Sometimes it's good to just release all that you think you are so that you can remember your true essence of your being, who you really are. And how we show up might be who we came to be in this incarnation, in this gorgeous hunk of beautiful humanity that we are. We're gorgeous. We're miracles. But to remember the spark of that miracle comes from within. And it grows just like the little wrap in the middle of that. 2 cells becoming 4, becoming 8, becoming 60. Chong, 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 chong. So let's bring it all back and try to, every night when we go to sleep, program yourself to forget everything that happened today. And tomorrow, I am a new seed with a new possibility, with a new consciousness. And when I open my eyes, I'm going to consciously bring forth from that sacred soul within me, the center where I am luminous, ever have been, always will be, luminous, bright light. I am going to grow myself back out into being in a proud, beautiful, confident way, leading with my heart, showing up as bliss everywhere. A lot of things are being kicked around today. We're getting contagious with a lot of things. How about love? How about bliss? How about your laughter? Laugh at things. It's not always a great skill to have, but it's one of my superpowers. I laugh at everything. Sometimes I'm not popular for that, but sometimes you just have to see the ridiculous in a situation. Like, are you kidding me? I came in this morning and everybody knows I've got wild life in my backyard and I love it. I feed it all. I grow gardens for the groundhog. But this morning I was a little bit upset with my groundhog because it dug through my Wi-Fi. Trying to get back. So my Wi-Fi is out until AT&T comes on Wednesday. 3 days from now. They're like Jesus. It takes 3 days to come out and like reconnect, resurrect my Wi-Fi. I'm like, okay, great. So in the meantime, I've got options and things like that. But it's just like I can love these animals and I can also be disappointed at the same time. It doesn't mean they're any less cool to me. It's just, all right. So cut people a break, cut yourself a break sometimes. Like, we're not always going to do it whatever perfectly is. Perfect is what you thought you might want to do, and then releasing that every night and allow it to show up in a different way. Because the more we can release, the more we can allow possibilities or the information we need to do it differently next time. Introspection. What would be a great question to ask of yourself when you're introspecting? When I was driving home, I liked the separation from the thing I just experienced. I was all by myself, driving, just contemplating it, all the nuance of it, all the people I saw. And then, one of the other things was got up for breakfast and went to the room where everybody was having breakfast before I drove back. And one of the servers was somebody whose yard connected mine growing up. So I was pushed even further back. Now I'm a kid in my backyard again with, oh my gosh. And we started talking about all these things, funny things. That's what we all remembered, the funny things, not the, we don't remember that. Don't you just, when you see old friends, my head's tingling again, don't you just think about those, oh my God, you remember the time? And it's funny. That is a hint. That's a hint. Just let go of the things that are challenging. It's like pruning a tree. That might be a little bit painful, or deadheading flowers. They bloomed and they're gone. And now new life is going to come. Every day we have the potential to experience that, from the bliss of that perfect reflection that is infinite in possibility. So what do you want? That's my question for you. What do you want that you can take with you if there is a life after life, after life, after life? What do you want? And what do you want to have more of in this life that you would be willing to give? There's a really wonderful song written by Abby Lincoln, and it's called Throw It Away. I encourage you, she's a really wonderful jazz singer. Back in the day, whatever day that was. When they say back in the day, which day was that? February 16th. And it's throw it away, give your love, give your life each and every day. Keep your heart wide open, let the sun shine through. You can never ever lose a thing when it belongs to you. And it belongs to you. You already have it. You've had it since you got here. You'll have it when this leaves. I'm tingling all over now. I don't know what that's about. And I don't have a pinched nerve on my neck, I'm sure. But it's just that. It's that sacred remembrance of the divinity that each one of us possesses. Your soul's calling. Shout it from the mountaintop and just allow the reverberation of it to ripple out like waters, the reflection of the perfect moon and the vibrant sun of your being.